Hey there, it's Diane Forster, and welcome to I Have Today, the show that inspires, educates, and empowers you through life's transitions. And each week on this show, I bring on the coolest, most amazing, awesome CEOs, authors, experts, and truly life changers who've gone through their own transitions in life and have come out on the other side successful. And they come on this show to share their story with us. And I am super excited about today's show because I have on a phenomenal guest, my friend Ken D. Forster. How are you, Ken?
I'm doing wonderful. It's a brilliant day here in San Diego, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me on your show.
My pleasure. Well, I'm so excited because I'm going to get into why Ken's on the show today and what's going on with him. He's got a phenomenal new book coming out. And we're going to talk about this and make this the theme and the intention of today's show, which is how to find courage to change your life. That is our theme. So if you're feeling stuck in your life somewhere and you're feeling those feelings of fear, doubt, insecurity, anything that might be holding you back, and yet you know you want more, you know you want to break through, Ken's going to have a lot of insight about this. We're going to have a great conversation. And then our intention statement this week is, if you're writing it down, is I have today to courageously go after my dreams. So write that down, put it on Post-it notes, stick it in your car, stick it on your vanity, stick it somewhere where that can anchor in for you, okay? So let me tell you a little bit about Ken. Ken D. Forster, who brings over 35 years experience in personal transformation and business development. He is a serial entrepreneur, visionary, best-selling author, keynote speaker, and syndicated radio host of the Voices of Courage show on 116 stations in over 100 countries. And I've had the privilege of being on his show, which was awesome. He has developed science-based, highly practical solutions for expanding human potential in entrepreneurial leaders who are committed to living legacy lives, generating positive impact, and being examples of healthy living and service. Ken has worked with, interviewed, consulted, and advised celebrity clients, billionaires, and best-selling authors, including Tony Robbins, Bill Bartman, Steve M. R. Covey, Nick Lowry, Marcy Shimoff, John Howard, Bobby DePorter, Chris Jaeb, John Assaraf, Lisa Nichols, Robert Allen, Sandra D. Robinson, Mark Victor Hansen, Jack Canfield, Ken Honda, and many more. Hello, what a list of clientele. His seventh book, The Courage to Change Everything, is changing how personal and professional development is delivered. It is a powerful and life-transforming read. Okay, so welcome.
Wow,
welcome.
thank you for
Impressive
that.
bio, yeah. Well, I'm so honored to have you here.
You know, I'm so happy to be here. It's such a journey. Life is such a journey, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You know, just coming down to studio here today, you know, there were a lot of little obstacles that I had to maneuver through to get here. Yeah. And as I walked into studio, you said, you know, this is going on, this and other. And we both went, oh yeah, full moon energy. Life is happening.
Yes.
Good things are going on. Yeah. So it's great to be here.
Well, that's so great. Well, I have so many questions for you. I want to ask you to tell the audience really, how did you get into personal development to begin with? Like, what's your background story?
My background story is, I think it's kind of the story of a lot of us, and it's I would say I studied a lot of Joseph Campbell early in my life, the hero's journey, and I believe all of us are on that hero's journey. My story was, living an everyday life. Things are working, things are kind of going along okay, but then life happened. All of a sudden the marriage didn't work out, and the job didn't work out, and the finances didn't work out, and I'm sitting in a place. I find myself up in Sacramento about 25 years ago, and I'm estranged from the city that I love, San Diego. Wow. I'm estranged from my friends. I'm making lots of money, but I'm spending it all, and I'm like, what's going on? What do I need to do here? What has to happen to change? I think a lot of us go through that. Yes. Then the transformation happens. I do some therapy. I'm in therapy with a therapist. He's a silver-haired guy. He's got steel blue eyes. I'm in therapy with him for a year. I walk into the studio, and I say into the therapy session, And I look at him and I said, you know, I've been hearing this voice. This is a year into therapy. And he says, well, what's the voice say? And I said, the voice says, I've got to feel the pain to make the change. And he looks at me, Diane, you'll never guess. I mean, he looks at me and he says, Ken, I can't help you anymore. You've got to follow that voice.
Yeah.
And as I walked out of the session thinking, am I crazy? Or is he crazy? I came to him because I'm hearing voices. And those voices aren't telling me good things.
Yeah.
But that was the voice of wisdom. And that was the voice that took me on the path of transforming my life everywhere, everything. How I thought, how I showed up, how I exercised, what I ate, what I did in this world. Everything changed as a result of listening to the intuitive voice.
I love that. I love that because that was my journey too. That voice, that voice, that voice. Wow. Okay. So I want to talk about the book. You know, this is your seventh book.
Seventh book.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. That's phenomenal.
Seventh book. I say this, books, when I first started writing books, I thought I was going to get my book out really quick and get it out in the world. Well, the first book, I think, took me 3 years to write. And I understood at that point that we don't really write books. Books write us. Mm-hmm. I became somebody different as I wrote that book. I stepped more into my power. This book took me 6 years to write. 6 years, right? Yeah. But I wanted this book. The name of the book is The Courage to Change Everything.
Yeah, let's see it.
And here you go. And I wanted this book to be able to really transform lives. That was the whole purpose of this. And I thought, there's been so many self-help, personal development books and stuff out in the market. How do I write a book that can really make a difference? And I bet you found the same thing. A lot of my clients, they come into my work, and if they're receptive, then they have an opportunity to learn and grow, right?
Right.
Our clients do that. But
yes.
And they'll come in and they'll learn something, a principle, and they'll go out and apply it. A lot of my clients who come in then, or they call me 2 or 3 days later and say, hey, I'm feeling down now. I don't have the energy. I'm not really feeling what I need to feel. I'm not up. I don't believe in myself. I don't believe it. And I said, well, then I'd re-anchor them, right?
Right.
You do the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, why don't I write a book that drips astute wisdom onto their minds every day to reprogram the mind? Just like I love the way you started out the show with the auto-suggestion, with the affirmation, to put in our mind. What if we had that every single day dripping in our consciousness? And what if we had the wealth principles that have been time-tested for eons, principles that really work, that can take our lives to the next level? What if we did that every day? And what if we had specific questions to open up the mind and point us in the right direction every day? That's what I did. I had 365 days of dripping on the mind and reprogramming the mind, and it's amazing. I read this book now. I wake up and I go, wow, this is amazing. This keeps me focused.
This is so good because this is so much about what I'm always preaching too, because we get so inundated with life, overwhelmed, confused. We get in this lower vibration and frequency. So we're in the muck of life, day-to-day life, instead of taking the time to really tune in and focus on us and what we really want.
Exactly.
And what it really takes to move forward in your life. And I think courage is, my belief is that courage is a muscle, like confidence is a muscle and mindset is a muscle. That's something, the way the mind works, that you would go back to those fear-based thoughts like your clients do. They work with you, and then 2 days later, they're like,
Right. Let me say something on that. You just touched on something really good.
Yeah.
You touched on frequency, right?
Yes.
Courage is a frequency. After I studied it for a while, I was like, what is courage? It's a thought. A lot of us have it. We're born with it. People have undeveloped courage. Some people are more courageous than others. But what is this energy? It's a frequency.
Yeah.
And it's a frequency that when we tune into it, in fact, there was a book years ago called Power versus Force.
Yes.
Right? Remember that?
Yes.
And they tested the frequencies of thought.
Yes.
Well, there was fear, and then the frequency that turned us into our higher states of consciousness was courage. So here's fear, We tune into courage. Now we're in the higher realms. Now we can open our minds. We can start to think in ways that start to attract to us the people, places, and things we need to generate a life of success.
Yes.
Yeah, so you got it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm a student of life about this stuff.
Too,
it's like a sponge.
Yeah.
Loving it. Yeah. So, all right. So this is great because I don't think there's a whole lot written out there on courage, actually.
There's not. Isn't that funny?
So see how you tapped it. Who cares it took you 6 years to write? This is a legendary lifetime book, right? It's gonna change so many lives.
Yes.
And it's gonna help so many people to tune into that every single day and tap into that. And I love that you said that you're reading it yourself, because I read my own stuff too. And
Isn't that cool?
My own stuff.
I'm a student of my own work because, again, books don't write us; we write books.
Right.
The book comes through us.
Yes.
And sometimes I'm writing, and all of a sudden I'll go, "Wow, that's really good."
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
I get that a lot. I bet you do too.
I too. It's like, wow.
Yeah. So now I write it, and the way I delivered it, so every day that you can open the book, and you can start with day one, and you can go for 365 days. How cool is that? But every day I'm opening the book and reading what the message is of the day to keep me focused, to keep me up, to keep me going in the right direction. Yeah. All of us need that. I can't imagine anybody, well, at least my mind does. I don't know about the rest of the world, but I sure need it. How about you?
Oh, I need it every day. I work on my mindset every single day. I work on my personal development every single day. In fact, my new thing right now is Bob Proctor's back in my sphere after 6-7 years.
Yes,
studied him and I've studied so many other people, and then all of a sudden he's just popped back up into it. So I pay attention to that, and I am hearing things differently than I ever heard it before because I'm not at that same frequency.
That's right.
The evolution is happening, the ascension. So, but I have to be doing this every day.
That's right.
Listen. Tony Robbins does it, right? Oprah does it.
That's
Bill
right.
Gates does it. I always say that, like, everybody works on their mindset every day because we're so programmed to go back to those 70% of thoughts that are negative. We just can't help it. That's what the programming and the dynamic is. So the way you laid this out is so powerful. So you got to keep your frequency up, just like you said. I love this because when you do that, like you said, all of a sudden you're thinking bigger. You're taking more of an aerial view of your life versus being in the smallness of it, and you're able to make better decisions. And that's the key to success: is good decision making skills and having the courage to do it. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So think about this. Think about if you just ask this one question every day. If I was courageous, what would I do today? Simple question, right? I don't know how many people will write that down and do it, but if I was courageous today, what would I do? Would I go mend a relationship that's been broken? Would I call somebody on the phone that I've been needing to call to take my business to the next level? Would I look within myself and find out what's causing me to maybe be angry or upset or fear-based? If I was courageous today, what would I do different? Yeah. Right? I'll tell you what's going to happen if you ask that question. And if you get this book and tune your mind into the frequency of courage every single day, you're going to end up seeing the unseeable, knowing the unknowable, and doing the impossible. So seeing the unseeable, right?
Yes.
That's that place where you just talked about. I was over here when I studied Proctor before. Now I'm up here. I'm seeing the unseeable. I could not see it at this level because I was not tuned into the frequency of that level. And as you talk, you spoke to this week at Women's Wisdom, which was powerful talk.
Thank you.
And one of the things that you talked about was the power of our words, the power of our language. In the Bible it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word is God, right? Our words are speaking truth into the world. We are out picturing this whole world. Everything comes from thought, right? The mind is the cause of our bondage. The mind is the cause of our liberation. So when we're in that place, when we can step in and we can start to see things we've never seen before. Why? Because we're languaging in a different way. Yes. We are bringing that in and we are attracting in a different way. That's what that book's about. And then we get to know things we've never known before.
Right.
It's, if you want to make a lot of money and you want to know how to make a lot of money, there's 1 million books that have been written on that. Yes. Why is it that you're not making a lot of money yet? Okay? Because you haven't learned to use the mind to tune into the right frequency on a consistent basis, get clear with your dream, get clear with your vision, have definite a purpose, realize the actions that you have to take. You talked about choice, right? Courage makes us take better choices every day.
Right.
Right? Because it's a frequency. So, and then we can do the impossible, things we've never done. Wow.
I love courage too, because it's not saying you're living fearlessly at all. What it's saying is, despite the fear,
right,
you're courageously moving in a different direction that would, and I haven't had the privilege of reading this.
But all of us have fear, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But being able to courageously take the steps forward, despite all of that, being courageous enough to really live life on your terms, pursue your dreams, go after your wants and your desires, learn, explore, like on so many different levels, right?
That's absolutely right, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, the courage to be able to step into who you are. That's one thing that courage helps us do. And, it's like there's a part of us that is the part that says, oh, I can't do this, I won't do this, it's too much. But there's another part of our soul that's unstoppable, that can do anything, that can step into and look at any situation, any problem and go, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it. So what gives us that I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it, that is courage. That is how we define courage. Courage is a force. It's a power within us that when tapped into, we become unstoppable, right? Yes. So everybody's fearful. Okay, or has fear-based thoughts.
Everybody does.
It's part of the consciousness. I loved in Genesis too. God said, I created the goodness. I created God created light. I created the darkness. God created all these things, right? So all this thought, all this good thoughts and negative thoughts are all here. It just depends on what we're going to tune into. Right? What do you want to tune into? Fear? Or do you want to tune into faith and power and understanding and wisdom and love?
Right.
It's always a choice.
It is. It is always a choice. Yes, there is law of polarity. On one side of the negative is the opposite side of extraordinary. Depends on how you look at it, right? So you have to have the courage to be able to discern what you want, what happens next for you, and what sort of choice and decision you're going to make in that moment.
Exactly.
Okay, so I want to ask you a question. What is one of or the most courageous thing you've ever done?
Gosh, coming on this interview.
Oh, come on,
Okay. Probably the most courageous thing I've done lately, as of late, is I decided that I wanted to go to the World Triathlon event in Penticton, British Columbia, and I wanted to finish in the top 10 in the world. That was my goal.
Wow.
In triathlon.
Wow.
So I did. I trained. 2017. I went to the nationals. I qualified for the world in the nationals. Went to the world. 3,500 athletes from all over the world. It was the most amazing thing in the world, bigger than the Olympics.
Wow.
And I competed in what's known as aquabike, which was a 2-mile swim as fast as you can go, and then a 75-mile bike ride. And I did it. I did. Not only did I get top 10 in the world, I got put on the cover of Triathlon magazine when I got home. I'm like, this is amazing.
That's amazing.
That's the universe going, yes, you're on purpose. Keep it going. Mm-hmm. So, but that was courageous. I had no idea how I was going to do that at all.
Oh, yeah.
And I just took steps every day into the unknown. I took a lot of very uncomfortable steps. long bike rides, 100-mile bike rides with athletes that were much more developed than me. But along the way, I met people like Scott Ensley, who has probably, I don't know, 100, 200 medals. I met an athlete named John Howard, who'd been an Olympian in Ironman triathlon. And then I met Denise Karenik, who I eventually became her coach. And she broke the world record for bicycling at 186 miles per hour on Bonneville Salt Flat. So all this came out of these courageous steps. So
Yes.
that's the point.
That's so beautiful. And I want to tap into something that you said about being uncomfortable. So that's what we have to do. I mean, stepping into courage, living courageously, it's not staying in your comfort zone. And that comfort zone is what keeps people stuck, right?
It is.
So how do you step out of that?
Yeah. It's a really good question, because I think we have to be courageous in pretty much all areas of our life, whether it's in our relationships, our business, our careers, with our family members. So how do we step into that? Well, we get comfortable going into the unknown.
Yeah.
So that's number one. And it's, again, when we take one step into providence takes two or three with us. We're always supported when we walk into the unknown. Mm-hmm. There's always something better and greater coming out of it than we can even imagine going in. So the greatest thing we have to do is be able to, when we're flooded with the uncertainty and the doubt and the fear, we look it in the eye and we say, no, I rebuke you. Get out of my consciousness. Move away. I'm visualizing this happening in this way. Right?
Right.
And that's what we do consistently.
Yes.
That's what I do consistently.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting because, what is it? The darkest, I'll say it my way. When we're at the darkest hour, when things look like they're all falling apart, where nothing looks like it's going to happen, that's the moment. That's the moment we've all been waiting for, because that's the moment we're called to step into courage. We're called to step into our brilliance, our genius, our passion, our power. That's the moment right there.
Right.
We prepare for this moment for a lifetime sometimes, and it comes and it looks like it's all falling apart. No. That's when you step into your power and it all comes together.
And the breakthrough happens.
And the breakthroughs
the miracle
happen.
happens. And
Yes.
all of a sudden you're resilient. You're so resilient in those moments. And the more you have them, the more you bless them as you are going through them and realize nothing's happening to you, it's happening for you.
For you, right.
That is what really builds that up. And you learn so many lessons along the way. Yes. And you think in the time... could things get worse, or and some people actually say that, and that's not the way to go. But since everything is working for me, what can I take away from this? How can I step up? What's the much bigger picture? And you get it. You get the clarity that way, right?
You get the clarity, and I think it doesn't have to be this big thing either.
Right.
It can be, okay, let me do one thing I've never done before. Let me do that every day, but let me do one little thing I've never done before. Because if we do that, if we take those actions, then we can do this formula in reverse. We'll be able to know what we've not been able to know before, and we'll be able to see things we've not been able to see before, just by taking actions into a place where we've that we've never done.
Right, yeah. Right. Okay, so I don't even know if you wrote about this in the book, but I'm gonna kind of put you on the spot, because I want to do a real life example. As you are stepping up into your higher self, a higher life, a greater life, relationships tend to fall apart. Some of them do, right? So people, there's messes, there's dismantling of things, and that can be a really painful thing to go through. So what would you say to someone who's trying to live more courageously, how they can navigate through that? experience? Because I certainly has happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to you.
Happened to me many, many times.
Yeah.
I've gotten really good at it. I'm pretty good at relationship these days. I've been married for 20 years to this amazing wife.
And she is amazing.
And she's my second wife. I was terrible in the first marriage. I really was. I just didn't know what I was doing, and created a lot of chaos and havoc and drama for my wife and myself at the time. But with relationship, here's what I get. A lot of times we get into relationships that are really not for our highest and best.
Okay.
And what we need to do is get really clear with what's working in that relationship and what's not. And the second piece in that, from my point of view, is that we have to ask ourselves, if I had the courage to really be in the relationship of my dreams, what would that look like? First of all, what would that look like? And then second of all, what are the action steps I could take around that? But what would it look like is really important, because I think we have to get clear with the characteristics of that relationship, the qualities of that relationship, what we deserve in relationship. Are we playing full out in relationship? Is our self-esteem low, so we're settling? So I think we need to ask some deep questions.
Yes.
But once we do that, then it's the courage to walk into that new relationship. And like you said, sometimes we have to let go. I found a secret to that. A letting go.
Do tell.
Well, most people they've been in a relationship for a long time, and they've got to have these long conversations about letting go, and they're going to try to do it easy and slow, and it's really simple. If you're in a relationship that's not working, okay, now this might be a little different if you're married, but it's really the same principle. You just start to pull your energy back.
Right.
Just stop being so available, so participating. Pull the energy back. Allow it to be what it's going to be. Okay, we don't have to talk about it. We don't have to get into all the drama around why we're letting it go, or why it didn't work, or whose fault it is. It really doesn't matter.
It doesn't. And personally speaking for me, I'm divorced, and I've been divorced for several years, and I've had relationships over this time, and I'm extremely aware when the relationship isn't right and it's not for me. I could just see we want different things, and I get out immediately. Immediately. It's not even, it's
right.
just we want different things. It's not a big deal. And
That's right.
and they're like, what?
Yeah.
You want to try? No, actually, I don't.
Right. Well, let me give you one other secret. This is something that if we knew this, which I do know, and I bet you know, is that if it's not working for you, it's not working for the other person.
Exactly.
If we just knew that one secret, okay?
Yes.
If it's not working for us, it's not working for them.
Yeah.
Right? So if it's not working for you, you're not doing them a favor by staying in this dysfunctional, crazy situation, circumstance. Yeah.
That's good advice.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
So, and then it takes what? Courage to take the actions that we need to, whether it's pulling our energy or moving away or saying, or just making the commitment to ourselves to step into something greater.
Yeah.
We're all evolving.
We are every day, all the time, every hour, always evolving. So how can we apply courage to make our lives great?
Whoa, that's a hard question, isn't it? Well, the first thing we want to do is what I do every day, I believe, is quiet your thoughts just for a moment. Maybe take some deep breaths in, tense your body and relax a little bit, calm your mind for a moment.
Yeah.
And then courage it's like the sugar for the cupcakes. It's like if it's not there, it doesn't taste very good. Well, to apply courage in your life, you have to make a conscious choice every single day. Again, back to that little question. What would I do if I was courageous today? Right? Every day. And then what are the 3 courageous actions that I will take today to change my life? One might be to pick up my book, The Courage to Change Everything.
Right.
One might be to go out and tell 3 people about this show and say, you know what, this is powerful. Come in, listen to Diane, connect with Diane. She's got a lot of amazing wisdom, and she knows people that might have a little wisdom too,
Right.
that will help you grow your life and grow your business and grow who you are as a person and grow your relationships.
Yes. I love that. So 3 things. That's doable. I'm all about 3 steps, processes, 3. It's easy. You can do that. And that progress, that steady, consistent progress of doing that is really going to help people really change the trajectory of their lives, because it's just going to keep building on that momentum. And it's just,
It's like, I mean, anybody that has developed some understanding about how life works, if I interview them on my show, and I bet if you interview them on your show, their answers are a lot the same.
Yes.
Most of the conscious millionaires that I've interviewed, and I've interviewed hundreds of them now, is they have some steps that they do every day. One is they're all spiritual. All of my founders spiritual. They connect to the Creator. They connect to God. They I don't care what you call that, but they connect to that. Number 1. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is they have a set of values they live by. They're high integrity. They're all seeking the truth.
Yes.
Number 3 is they're all courageous. They step into the unknown like never before. And they didn't start out that way. They started out in small steps, almost all of them. Number 5 is they're not afraid to fail. In fact, most of us have failed several times in big ways. I think what was it? The statistic, I think it's 8 out of 10 millionaires have been bankrupt in this country, right? Failure, 8 out of 10. So you can't be afraid to fail.
Right.
It's like, go out and fail. Fail yourself forward.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, and lastly around that, the people that I've interviewed, they're all self-reflective. They look at every day what's working, what's not working, and how can I improve tomorrow.
Yes.
All of us do this.
Yes.
Apply those principles and your life will get better.
Yes.
We all know what's working, what's not working, and what we can do better in our health, in our fitness, in our mental, emotional states,
Right.
in our relationships. We all know inside what we need to do,
Yes.
but are we willing to do it?
Right.
That's where courage comes in. That's why we have to develop it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Wow. All right. Well, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with the audience before we tell them how to find out about you and get a copy of this amazing book?
Yeah, this interview isn't about Diane or myself. This interview is for you and about you. So if you're listening to this and you're tuning into this, there's some messages here for you. And I submit there's no coincidence in life. All things show up to support your greatness, your brilliance, your love, your power, your passion to come forth in this world. So if you've been moved by this, if you've been touched by this, I thoroughly, as I said before, I encourage you to listen to Diane, listen to what she's doing. And also, if you want to get the book, the book is The Courage to Change Everything. You can find it on couragetochange.us. Courage to Change, that's T-O, couragetochange.us. I hope you'll take me up on that, and I think what will happen is if you do, your life will change in ways that you can't even imagine right now. So,
Well, I love it. I can't wait to read it. I can't wait till it's available. I'm going to devour this every single day and add it to my regular routine to nurture my spirit, mind, and body that helps me to live more courageously every day. And so it's been an honor and a privilege. And what we'll do is we're going to have a link in the comment section. If you are watching this on YouTube, it'll be there. On iTunes, you'll have to catch it on our website at dianeforster.com, but you'll be able to get the information to get the book and find out more about Ken. And I know you said there were free gifts on the site as well, so you definitely want to check that out. And so one of the things that I want to offer to you that I think is a great addition to what you're doing, and it's a free gift, is we've discovered, and I know that you know this, that 80% of people really struggle with mindset challenges and limiting beliefs around money and scarcity. And so I created a free mantra meditation, which is called the Money Manifestation Meditation, MMM. It's a free download. It's an audio, and you can start reprogramming your limiting beliefs to become a money magnet in under 5 minutes a day. So read a chapter of Ken's book on courage, listen to that 5-minute money mantra meditation, and watch the miracles that start showing up in your life. So that is available at dianeforster.com. Just register, just give us your email address, and we'll get it to you right away. And please follow us. We are at I Have Today with Diane Forster on YouTube and iTunes, and Diane Forster Official on all social media, and of course our website, dianeforster.com. So, Ken, it's been a privilege having you, my friend. It's been amazing to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
and I love what you're doing here.
Thank you.
It's
thank
awesome.
You, thank you. So let me just end it. Remember, our theme today was how to find courage to change your life. And the intention statement is, I have today to courageously go after my dreams. This is Diane Forster from I Have Today. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.